Right, so what we're going to have a look at today is a video that I did back in December 2017. At the time when I did it, I was the ops manager for a company out of WA. What I was actually talking about was artificial intelligence and when will it be that AI runs a construction schedule. Everyone back then said to me, including the people that I was working for, you're mad. That stuff's 20 to 30 years away. Not going to happen anytime soon. Great idea, sounds good in theory, but never ever going to happen. What I'm going to show you is what I said in the video back in 2017. Then I'm going to show you 10 tech startups in the AI space that's happened in the space of 3 years. What none of these people understood at the time, then I probably didn't explain it very well, was what's known as exponential growth or Moore's law. So when Moore's law says when information technology is added to anything, it starts a doubling pattern. So it starts getting better and better and better. That's why this thing right here, this mobile phone, the microchip's been doubling since whenever it was that it was invented. There's more computing power in that than what they had in the computers when they put a man on the moon. That just keeps doubling. People, when they say that artificial intelligence was going to be 20 to 30 years ago away, they literally did not understand Moore's law and the doubling and how quickly this stuff's actually moving. So I'll flick across. I should be able to jump onto this one.
How long will it be before artificial intelligence?
Hang on. So this is Beanie back in 2017, okay?
Runs a construction schedule. I don't have the exact time on me right now, but I'm gunning for the first half of 2018.
Alright, so that was a little bit ambitious. I didn't have the right person that I needed to be able to help me create this at this time, but I'm still looking. And I've recently come across a couple of people who are doing something in very similar spaces. I've actually reached out. I'm going to show you one of the startups I've actually reached out to, which has a device that goes on a crane. And I'll show you why and why it's so powerful in a minute. Anyway, let's keep this going.
I'm mad. Come back and see me in 6 months.
Yeah, I'm mad.
And I'll prove to you that I'm not. Because, as Peter Diamandis says, the day before something is a breakthrough, it's a crazy idea. You're not sure who Peter Diamandis is? He was named by Fortune magazine as one of the world's 50 great leaders. And he's a co-founder, amongst many things, of Planetary Resources, who are developing technology to mine asteroids.
That's actually happening, mining asteroids.
Or mining asteroids?
Sorry, the technology's being developed to do that.
Asteroids? Suddenly, artificial intelligence running a construction schedule doesn't seem so far-fetched, does it? Now, obviously, I'm not going to give away too much of my cunning and ingenious plan in this video, as I don't want my competition working out what I'm up to. But if you've got an SMP project or E&I project, I'd be happy to sit down with you and show you how it's going to drive even more efficiency out of your labour and equipment. And yes, you're right.
Write that down. Efficiency out of labour and equipment. Because they're important points when we go and have a look at these couple of startups in a minute.
You picked up on my quote being a Blackadder quote. My plan's so cunning, you can pin a tail on it and call it a weasel.
Alright, so that's December 2017. So you got to remember that is only 3 years ago. Alright, let's have a look at these tech startups that we've got here. So we've got 10. Top 10 tech startups powering construction sites with AI. This is written August 25th, 2019. So it's not actually 3 years, sorry. They didn't move this far in 3 years. This is how far it's moved in 2.5 years. The ones that I'm particularly interested in is this one here. This is one that I've actually reached out to called Versatile. This goes on a crane. So I'm going to play this video. I'll replay this video. So can we replay that? No, don't want to go to the YouTube. Just want it to. Hang on, we'll have to refresh this page. As you can tell, ideas are my thing. Technology, not so much. Right, let's go back. That should have reset this video. Let's watch this.
We are a construction tech company set out to change the process on construction sites. We view construction sites as a manufacturing floor, and we believe it should be a controllable manufacturing process. So we have
And what I said back in my video about getting the maximum efficiency out of labor and equipment.
IoT sensors are actually mounted on the crane. We collect the data, we analyze it, and we give it back as actions to the right people at the right time on the right task.
If you look at any other industry that made a jump in productivity, it's when people started getting access to the data and took decisions and improved the process using the data.
Data is everything. If you go back, there's another video that I did around the same time. I talk about the 5 Ds, project management. One of them is data. And I've got a saying there. It says, data doesn't always tell you what you want to hear, but it never lies.
Starting point is the crane, and you could see the smart hook or Hawkeye behind us. But we will go beyond the crane, and what we see as a vision is Versatile Natures as a platform that is the brain behind everything that's working on the construction site.
Right, so that's the first one, Versatile. Go and look them up. Now this one here, BuildStream, this is the other one. I want you to have a look at this.
My name is Terry Clark. I'm the CEO of BuildStream, and we're building the digital operating system for heavy construction equipment. The problem that we're solving is the underutilization of expensive heavy equipment assets like bulldozers, excavators, and site trucks.
Someone said that back in 2017. That was a major problem.
I was working on a major infrastructure project and I was in charge of their equipment operations. I saw that there's a big problem with underutilization and I was looking at ways to solve it. As we researched the problem, we quickly found that there's a big data gap, so we created BuildStream to fill that gap. Our solution uses hardware and software to digitize these assets. We pull all the data into one place and we provide live granular information that communicates to head office people and site teams so that they can understand how to use the equipment more effectively when it's out on site.
Right, this is vitally important because you get gear that sits parked up in the back corner of the site that never ever moves. My idea was, and I didn't give it away in that video at the earlier, was be able to, exactly what he's saying there, is to be able to pull back data from your machinery and your equipment as to the usage and then feed your schedule off of that. So if you integrated that as well with your materials getting delivered to site, so that you're getting real-time feedback from this stuff, and you look at that crane hook, if I can match up that crane hook system that they got, Versatile's got, what old mate's got here, and then suck that in and create a schedule out of that, that is going to change the industry, literally. Well, there's stuff already changing the industry, but it's going to be a massive change to the industry. All right, if you want to know more about that, connect with me and talk about it. Just going to play you a little, because that is it for today. As General George S. Patton said, lead me, follow me, I'll get the hell out of my way. If you want to lead me or follow me, and you want to talk further, the best way to do that, because I'm going back onto a project very soon, is via an app called Voxer. You use asynchronous communication. Now, much simpler than what you would think that sounds. And this is another killer tool that I'm going to try and introduce when I'm on site next year as well. Voxer. V-O-X-E-R. I'll let another beanie explain to you exactly how it works, and we'll speak soon. You know how you can literally lose hours every day, backwards and forwards with phone tag on this thing, trying to set meetings up via email and messenger, or even worse still, getting stuck on this thing with someone that you just can't get off. In this quick video, I'm going to tell you about a killer app that's going to remove all of those issues and give you a ton of time back in your day. This is Beanie the Troublemaker Coach, and the free app that I'm telling you about today is called Voxer. V-O-X-E-R, and it leverages what's known as asynchronous communication. The quickest, easiest way that I can describe it to you, especially if you're of my vintage, is it turns your phone into a walkie-talkie. When you want to communicate with someone, you literally hold a button, talk, and that gets sent straight to them. So you can communicate with them whenever it's most convenient for you, and they communicate back when it's best for them. So phone tag and all the other messing around literally becomes a thing of the past. It's so extremely effective, I actually use it as the front end of my sales system. And I do that by a process called the triage call, where I asked them a series of 6 questions. Crossing asynchronous communication with the triage process has to be one of the most powerful things that I've ever been able to implement into my business. That's because by the time someone's gone through that process and they're ready to speak to me one-on-one, they're pretty much ready to buy. It all happens and takes up no more than 10 minutes of either of our times. If you want to see how it works, there'll be a link just below this video